Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So I'm combining two techniques. One's going to be a blowout with the hairdryer and the other one is a surprise. I'm using a gorgeous colour palette. I can't wait for you to see it, and it reminds me of being in Japan. That might give you a hint to the colour palette that I've chosen. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's see what we can create. So let me take you in now so you can see some of the colours that I'm using. For my base, I'm going to be using the burgundy, the white and the black. And they're those three colours there. And then I'm going to use some other colours on top. And I will list all of these one by one, including the brand of paint, in the description box. So be sure to check that out if you'd like the names and the brands of paint that I'm using today. I've got my canvas ready. I've mixed up all my paints with just water. The ratio that I'm using is 1 part paint to 1 part water, and that's the same for all of these colours. So there we go. You'll see that the burgundy just drizzles off of the spatula back into the cup. Same with the black and white. Same for all of these colours. So they're all mixed up, my canvas is on its stand, and I'm ready to go. So I'm first of all going to start with just the black and white. I'm just going to puddle those on the canvas, starting with the white, then the black, and then I'm going to alternate between the two to get a puddle of paint in the centre. I'm then going to add a little bit of burgundy, and then I'm just going to pick up the canvas, tilt the canvas, to spread that paint out a little bit before taking my hairdryer to blow some of that paint out across the surface area. So this is the first technique that I'm using. So I'm just using my hairdryer to blow the paint out across the canvas. I'm focusing more in this area. There's just a lump of paint there that I need to get before I continue, just to move that out of the way. My hairdryer is always on a cool setting and the lowest blow speed. And I'm just going to blow the paint out across the surface area and down the sides. So I'm concentrating more on this area because in that top left and right hand corner of your screen that you can see, I'm going to use a completely different technique because I would like that combination of techniques, and I've got a bit of a surprise because I'm going to use something for the next technique and I don't want you to miss it. So stick with me to see how this really evolves. Okay, so I'm finished with the hairdryer. I'm now using a cardboard tube, literally the innards of a toilet roll, and I'm going to place that tube on my canvas. I have cut it in half, but I'm literally going to place it just on the canvas around here. So let me dip that into the paint. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one colour at a time, but not the black or the white. And I'm going to puddle that in the cardboard tube. And then we're going to swish it across the canvas. As I'm adding one colour on top of another colour, that volume of paint will push that paint underneath that cardboard tube onto the canvas. There we go, you've seen a burst of paint just there. But because I'm placing one colour on top of another, it's going to create a reaction. It's almost going to create like a cell and lacing effect. So there was the swoosh. I hope you didn't miss it. But you can see that reaction of paint because it was layered on top of each other. I am just going to move these cups out of the way, and then I'm going to pick up my canvas and I'm going to tilt the paint. That swoosh of paint that we've just released from that cardboard tube, I'm going to spread that across the surface area of the canvas on the other side. I am just using my torch first to pop those air bubbles, but as you can see, I want to keep half of that canvas with that blowout that we did previously, and now just spread this paint out across the other areas. And as I do this, guys, I can't wait for you to see the reaction because those paints are working really well together. And yeah, I just can't wait to show you. I'm really happy with the composition. It almost reminds me of a mountain range with a sunset behind it. And yeah, I just got a few gaps on the sides. I'm going to use my finger and the paint that's already dripped onto the table just to fill those gaps, and then I'll take you in for a closer look at the wet version. So here's the wet version. Let me take you in for a closer look. We've almost got that smooth, silky flow of paint that we used when we did the blowout with the hairdryer. And then we've got that detail where we did that swoosh with the cardboard tube. And that paint's reacted and created some cells and lacing. And that actually reminds me of a saying, red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. I don't know if you've heard that before, but yeah, it really reminds me of the sunset in the evening, and I really love that detail that we've achieved. I'm of course going to let this dry, and then I'll take you in for a closer look at the dry version. And here's the dry version. I've got to admit, once I'd created this and I stepped back and had a look, it really reminded me of the time that I visited Japan. I was really lucky to go and visit my brother who was teaching in Japan, and it was the cherry blossom season, and we toured around a little bit, and it just reminds me of the mountains, the red sky at night, and the cherry blossom. So that has kind of sparked a really great memory for me, and I'm really grateful for this. I hope I get to see you again in the next video. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a great week, and whatever you're up to creatively, I hope you're having fun. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. It really does mean the world to me. And if you've enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and share it out if you can. Have a great week ahead, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.